Welcome to the language tutorial for parents, guardians, and academic supporters. Our team of elementary and middle school teachers has put together this tutorial to give an overview of the language curriculum as well as helpful tips on how to create a successful home learning environment. In this video, we will cover student responsibility and accountability, materials, workspace, and directions on essential parts of the program students will be completing. Language integrates reading, writing, spelling, vocabulary, grammar, foundational skills, and spoken English. Students will be placed into Book A through F to the right, you can see them right here, based on their current level. You will receive information regarding your child's level from their teacher or caseload provider in Chippewa Valley. First and foremost, let's discuss student responsibility and accountability. Students should be completing work on their own to the best of their ability. This process is still new for all of us, and as teachers, we will be here for any questions that arise. We understand students will need directions clarified, restated, and may require academic support, especially during the first few weeks of virtual learning. As your child becomes more comfortable navigating on their own, it is our hope that they can become more and more independent as time goes on. We use this data for their IEP goals and to monitor their progress over time. So it is important that their work reflects their current ability in order for us to provide the most effective and appropriate instruction for their level. Here we have some workspace ideas for your child. Supplies that they will be needing include pencils, a highlighter, possibly a phone or tablet with a camera to submit work, depending on your child's teacher and how they determine how work will be submitted, tiles or coins for some of the step one lessons. And it is important to keep your space organized and all of your materials together so that you can get online and ready to work when the time comes. Additional workbook pages may be provided by your teacher in packets or on Schoology. This will vary depending on your teacher. Next, we will go over the materials that will be provided at home. Let's discuss materials that will be available at home. The teal books in this photo are from Book B, which your child may be in if they are in 5th or 6th grade. The materials are exactly the same no matter what level your child is in. They might just be a different color, but they'll look just like this. The first book right here is the student's interactive textbook or floppy book, as many of us call it. This is the book your students will be utilizing most and will be written in daily. Teachers will teach from slides that correspond to each page of the interactive text. After a teacher models and practices a skill with students, students will complete the remainder of the page on their own usually. Each teacher may have their own way of collecting your child's work in this text, so it's important to keep it in a safe place. In the middle, right here, is the hardcover student text. This book is not to be written in. You can consider it like a textbook. This is where your student will find helpful resources for each step of language, as well as the decodable, instructional, and challenge texts that they will use to answer comprehension questions. Last, over here to the right, is a student content mastery assessment booklet. So, this booklet may or may not be sent home depending on your child's teacher. Some teachers may decide to put these assessments online, but I wanted to include it just in case. So, this will only be used to assess your child's progress in each unit. If they do not master a skill, it will be retaught and retested. Students will always be given the chance to retake an assessment until they master a skill. Mastering a skill is considered 80% accuracy. Here is a sample of a passage fluency lesson. This type of lesson is one that is likely to be completed during live or a previously recorded lesson. After a few times of completing these fluency lessons, your child should be able to practice reading these passages and recording their times on their own. Ideally, they need to have a person listening to them to provide feedback, but if that's not an option that day, it's still excellent practice for them to practice their reading accuracy, automaticity, and fluency on their own. Here's how it works. These fluency passages are found in the back of your child's interactive text or floppy book. In a lesson, a teacher will model how to read the passage to help students develop reading speed, accurate word recognition, and phrasing. In class, the students would be assigned a partner. This will look different at home, depending on who is around while they're listening to this lesson. At home, they can read to a parent, guardian, or an older sibling. They can even record themselves on a tablet or cell phone and listen back to it. First, they should read the passage untimed to practice after they've listened to someone model the reading. Next, a timer is set for 1 minute via a computer or phone. The student sees how many words they can read accurately in 1 minute, and they record the words per minute in the first box right here, and then the amount of errors next to it. After feedback is provided by the listener, students then read the passage again and record their words per minute in the error in the second box over here. So the idea is to try to beat their score the second time. A lot of us encourage them to try to beat their scores by 5 words or more, but ideally, even if they beat it by a couple words, that's still great progress. This activity will likely be repeated on other days for practice. Additional recording data can be written anywhere on the page. There's also a graph in the back of the book where we will be instructing students to record their progress so they can see how their fluency improves over time. The last thing we wanted to show you is a sample comprehension lesson. This sample lesson is from Book B, but all of them, no matter what level your student is in, are going to look similar. They're going to have this text, which is in their hardcover textbook, and then there'll be a set of questions in the floppy book over here. Or, like I said, your child's teacher may assign these questions online, but basically they're going to be reading a passage and then answering the comprehension questions in complete sentences to the best of their ability. Okay? So, the first thing that we would do in a live recorded lesson would be to go over the vocabulary. So, we would read all these definitions highlighted and give them an introduction to what all these words mean and put them into context for the student. So, then next, they're going to read the passage. These passages will be available on Schoology for your student to listen to them, and then they can practice reading it again to themselves. Once your child has listened to the reading or read it themselves, they can go ahead and answer the 5 comprehension questions in complete sentences. For example, number 1 says, state 3 reasons to use the web. They would begin the sentence with 3 reasons to use the web are. We want to make sure that we're encouraging students to use proper punctuation and capitalization, because not only is this going to help their reading comprehension completing these lessons, but it's also a great opportunity to practice writing. So once the students are done, they will submit their assignment via the method that their teacher explains to them, and then they will be provided feedback during live instruction or on Schoology. We hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any further questions on the language program or how your child will be submitting work via Schoology, please contact their caseload provider or Resource Room Language Arts teacher. We hope you know that we are here to support each and every one of you. We can't wait to see all of our kids in these next coming weeks. Thank you.